How much of your investments are in properties? How much are in loans?
We have about 2 million square feet right now, and I would say about 10 to 20% of that is focused on buying distressed debt, although it's been very difficult because of the behavior of the banks and the way the market is actually overall allowing assets and loans to move through the system.
So are banks then more willing to sell the loans? In other words, do they look less bad, so they're willing to write them down?
Well, it's really interesting. It really depends on the balance sheet of the particular banks. Large banks, some large banks, I will say, have done a very good job moving assets through the system, particularly restructuring those assets with their own borrowers. Other banks are a little bit more schizophrenic in the way that they're dealing with it. But I think the overall issue on the loan buying side, other than very large institutions which are able to buy pools of loans because of their relationships, is that loans will go out for sale and then after a bidding process are very frequently pulled back from the market. So there's a lot of time invested by a lot of firms in trying to go after certain really quality loan assets
Vicky,
throughout the United States.
Is it possible to make an overarching comment on when some of the banks, the bigger ones, started to be willing to sell? Did it happen in the past year?
That's a great question. We're seeing a lot more activity since the middle of 2011. It's still a bit of a drip, but there are many, many assets, particularly in the REO category, going out to the market. Whether or not those are priced adequately is another question, but we are seeing a big flow of assets throughout the country going out through the banks and their brokers.
Okay, Vicky, I'm anxious to get to these national hotspots. Where do you see the most opportunity in distressed commercial right now?
Well, commercial real estate is overpriced in certain sectors, like multifamily and core office, core retail, and other core assets throughout the country. And there is a severe competition amongst pension funds and foreign buyers in key markets. So as far as we're concerned, we are really focused on more secondary markets, which we've seen heavy distress or some sort of macroeconomic interesting factor, like technology, like healthcare, like an aging population, or a tax structure within the state that makes sense for businesses to move there.
So if you had to name cities, is it possible to come up with a list of places where you think, for one of those reasons or another, just right now, at this juncture, represents good opportunity?
Well, we have been playing in the Charlotte and Raleigh area for the past year. We own several assets in those markets, and we're looking fairly heavily now, again, in those markets. We, from a contrarian standpoint, we really like Las Vegas. Very, very careful about the parts of the city that we're looking at and the sectors. We favor industrial over office in that market, but the market, certain assets can be bought very inexpensively as compared to replacement cost. We just bought an industrial park in Las Vegas for about 25% of replacement cost, for instance, from a major bank. We're also looking in Dallas. We have about 1 million square feet in Dallas today, and have several office buildings that we're negotiating for right now. So those are 3 examples of markets that, for various reasons, we think are good secondary markets to focus on.
Good secondary offices. And I know as well that your company is all women-owned. Is that true at Oro?
We are majority women-owned. My partner, Brad Minlin, and I own the company. And so we are slightly majority women-owned, but we are classified as a woman-owned firm.
And you personally, though, have started something like 4 firms in 15 years, so you have an entrepreneurial spirit even when it comes to real estate.
Absolutely, and it's been a lot of fun and a great ride even through the economic downturn. And I just encourage women throughout the country to think about being entrepreneurs, particularly in this environment. I think we have a lot of opportunity today.